Hello, hello, and welcome back. We have our last day of the Santa Crochet Along today. So today is day 10. This is going to be where we will be putting together our little birdhouse to make us amazing staff for Santa. So this was an option that you could do. Or you could just have the two turtle doves sitting on the staff if you had one of those kind of forked branches and you wanted to just do your turtle doves that way. That was your other option. But today is another fun option. And we've already made the pieces for the birdhouse. So we're going to go ahead and assemble those together. And then we'll start doing all of the putting together of the Santa's staff. Okay. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive on in. I'm going to do my top down here. So let me just switch my camera view. Okay. Now we will be making another turtle dove together today, but not quite yet. So let's go ahead and first we're going to put together the birdhouse. Okay. So I'm going to just get rid of the pattern for now. And you can see that I've got some things set out here that we're going to be needing. So here's our Santa that we finished together. And this is the staff that I'm going to be using. So you'll see that it doesn't have a top to it because that's actually going to fit inside of our birdhouse. So that's good. That's what we want. We've got all of our pieces that we'll be sewing together. And then we have some fun moss that we can play around with. I've got my hot glue gun heating up here as well, or you could always use tacky glue, although it does take a little longer to adhere, but whatever is handy. I mean, I used tacky glue when I made this base, but it did take a little longer. So for time purposes today, I'm going to go with hot glue just to save us a little bit of time. And then you need a little bit of cardboard. I just grabbed this off a box to make the inner structure, and then little pieces of wood. So I got these at the dollar store. These are Jenga blocks. So I'm going to use 4 Jenga blocks. And then I also got these. These are just little like wooden cubes here. And so you're just using a couple of those. Those are also from the dollar store. So very cheap supplies here. But this is really just to create a nice internal structure for the birdhouse because it's not going to be stuffed. Hello, Lana. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Missy is still on, so I'll be back and forth. No worries, no worries. We're just kind of going to be hanging out and assembling today. Now, the other thing that I did, you guys, we did do one turtle dove, if you'll remember. So one thing we're going to be needing is a stick that will fit inside of the birdhouse, because if you remember, we did leave a little hole here, and that is so that a stick can come out and have a turtle dove on there. So I just went ahead and snapped off this part of the stick so that I can then go ahead and I'll be gluing the back side of the stick to my staff inside, right? So that way it can just hold on in there. You could even fix a little bit of glue around if you want to just put it in that little center circle there and just to hold it in there nice and snug. But this is one of the turtle doves. I'm also going to make the other one, and I'm going to put him in the window here of the birdhouse. So that's what we'll do with the second turtle dove, okay? So that's for later. So I'm setting all these bits aside because we are first needing to assemble the birdhouse. We've got all the bits. We just need to assemble it. So let's go ahead and just get going on that, okay? So we've already put together the roof like this. We just needed to basically sew in the ends. So we're just going to do that really quick here. Okay, so we're sewing in some of the ends, and then we'll use a lot of the ends to just basically whip stitch these sides together. So it shouldn't take too long to do, but you're basically you just need to hide the ends, you guys. So it's not like brain surgery. We're just trying to get it so that they're not sticking out. You know, once it's in the inside of the birdhouse, nobody's going to see it. And they've already been pretty much fastened off when you tied them off anyway. So we're just wanting to hide those ends right there, you guys. So nothing too crazy. We just want to tuck them away here, like so. Then get that one away. The roof, you don't need the strands for, so these ones you're just putting them onto the inside. You don't need these ones. The ones you're going to need are some of the side ones, right? Because that's what we're going to use to basically just stitch the sides together. So we're just tucking in ends here. Really doesn't need to be anything crazy. I mean, if you want to use glue, you can. I tend not to use glue as much as possible, but for this little guy, you know, I think it's okay because we're going to be adding moss and just kind of decking it out, you know. But we have our crocheted base here, which just makes it fun and handmade, you know. It's like that gal that does the semi homemade. What is it, Sandra Lee or something for the cooking? But this is semi homemade with Frizzy Bee. So we're going to do our crocheted birdhouse, and then we'll do our add-ons, which is going to be like the fun moss and such. So I'm just tucking this down. These will all end up on the inside of our work. We got one more here on this rooftop here. So we're just going to make it go to the inside of the work so it's not right there on the peak. Okay, just like that. And that's going to be that one. Okay, just cutting that one away. Boop. All right, so there's our rooftop. So we've got our roof, okay? So now let's fit our sides here. So let's find our different sides. We've got our back piece here and any of the smaller ones, okay? So keep the longer ones, but the smaller ones you can go ahead and weave in. So we'll keep the longer ones for now until we know what we need and what we don't need. So we're just gonna go ahead and stitch in the short ends here, which are usually where you started your work, right? So we're just stitching those in. Again, nothing crazy. We're just gonna whip it in there into the between spaces of the stitches, right? So you're kind of just going in between your stitches so that when you look on the front and the back, you're not really seeing the needle. That's how you know you're in the in-between space. The in-between space, right? There's probably a name for that, but we're just going to call it the in-between space. So again, I'm finding the shorter ends, tying them in, so that way all that I have left are the longer ends that I'm going to then use to build our birdhouse and stitch it together and get it all finished up here. So I hope everybody that celebrated Thanksgiving yesterday had a good Thanksgiving. We did over here. We were nice and full even before the meal came because we, of course, had a bunch of appetizers, and so we were all pretty much filled up before it even started. Hi, Angel. How's it going? We're just not really whip stitching. We're just tying in the short end pieces of our birdhouse, just basically weaving them in a little bit and cutting them away and just keeping the longer ones that we're going to use to sew the sides together. That's what we're doing at the moment. If you are not doing a birdhouse and you're just here hanging out with me, which is also equally amazing, what are you guys working on? So this is just the, you know, it's my favorite part, right? Sewing in loose ends. This is the part I always give to my mom to do. Oh, but alas, I wanted to make sure, since we're making this together, that we're doing this whole thing together. So I'm in it with you guys, you know. I will trudge through the loose end tying off and all that jazz. Hi, Crafty Gypsy. How you doing? Glad you could join in today. I'm just weaving in some ends here. Yeah, I thought, oh, I should just get this part done, but then at the same time, I'm like, well, if anybody's actually making this with me, then you won't have done that. So let's just do it together, right? So we're just going through. This one has more loose ends because we had to do that separate little kind of window area there. Which if I had a second ball of that yarn, I probably could have saved myself an end or two, but I didn't at the time, so here we are. Oh my goodness. Oh, Gypsy, is your name Jessie? See, I got to learn everybody's names because I call you by your handle, but if you want to be called something else, let me know. And hello, Samantha. Working on a snowflake dishcloth by Creative Grandma. Nice. That's awesome. Okay. So I'm just figuring out which ones are my longer ends and getting rid of the other ones. And what are you working on, Crafty Gypsy, aka Jessie? I managed to get over to Dutch Bros in time to come and be on here with you guys. They're having a if you get a large drink today, you get a little their logo is like a windmill, you know, so it's a windmill cookie cutter ornament thing majigger. So I got 2 large drinks so I could get 2. Hello, Panda. How are you, my dear? You get called all kinds of things, Gypsy. What do you prefer being called? Because, you know, people call me Frizzy or people call me Julianne, but I don't really mind either way because I like the name Frizzy too. So that's right. Finally starting that cat blanket. Yay! It's going to be so cute, Panda. I am excited to see you work that one up. All right, cutting this one off. Boop. All right, so we just have 1 left on there. We're good on that piece. We're good on that piece. We just have a couple more pieces here that we're tying in these extra bits. And then we'll be good to start going around here. Working on a turkey sandwich. Nice. I want a turkey sandwich. That sounds good. Maybe that's what I'll have today, right? Turkey, little stuffing on there, and some oh, no, we didn't bring any of the cranberry home. Darn it. Can't have a turkey sandwich without the cranberry from the can. Right? Oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna get rid of that one. Boop. Next, here's another little one. We'll get rid of this one. My hot glue gun is like ready to go. I can smell that it's ready. Semi-lurking. You lurk away, Panda. No worries. This is not the most exciting part of the day, but the chat will keep me going through this loose end part. Help me, people. Okay. Get this one gone. Boop. All right. This is the other short one, so we'll just get rid of this guy. And then we'll just have the one. We've got almost ready to go. Yeah, I don't really like heating up turkey because it ends up getting gamey if you heat it too much. Probably could just like take the chill off of it from the fridge, but I feel like if you go any more than that, then you're looking at some gamey tasting turkey meat. Right? Okay, so that one's ready. And last but not least, this is one of the little side bits here. Here's the shorter size. We'll get rid of that. Lana and Panda are going back and forth between here and Missy. She's awesome. I love her. She's such a warm person, right? She's lots of fun. All right, so I'm just getting this one in, and then we can start whip stitching these sides together. All right, let's get rid of this guy. Boop. Like so. And there we have it. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and start with the front piece. Okay. So grab your front piece and grab your roof. Those are the 2 you're going to start with. And it really doesn't matter, you guys. So if you want to start somewhere else, that's fine too. But this is where I'm going to start. So you're going to go just inside of the roof. So you'll notice, let me grab one of the sides here. Okay. You see this? See, there's a little bit on either side purposely. We wanted the roof to be just a slight titch longer, right? Because that's how a house is. So you have the little kind of eave area, right, that comes over. So keeping that in mind, that's what we're going to do. We're going to inset the front of the house just a wee bit, okay? Just so that we can get that little ledge coming off. So having that as your guide even, now that you know this is where your peak is going to go, then you can just kind of get your first stitch going in that space, and that'll be your guide as you're working your way down. Okay. So what I think is easiest to do is just kind of first on this side, we'll kind of fold it down because you're stitching only from here to here where you did your starting your decreases. You see that? So you did your straight up and then you started your decrease areas. And so we're just whip stitching down to where that angle is, and that's it on this piece. And then the rest of that will get stitched to the side piece. Okay, so we're going just whip stitching here. Let me get up closer. You're going to just grab a underneath space, so you're not going all the way to the top part of the roof. You're just working through the back sides of these stitches, right? And then you're just going and whip stitching it to the front piece of the house. And we'll just go down the line here, nice and easy. Nice and easy. Except for when it jumps out of my needle, which it does a lot when I'm live. Okay, here we go. Let's try that again. All right, so we're just going down the line. All right, how many people have started putting up their Christmas decorations? Show of hands. Let's find out. We put up our tree yesterday. My daughter has been itching to do that. So the minute we got home, even though my husband's not been feeling well, I did it for her because I'm like, she's not going to last any longer. So I got it down for her and she was very pleased. So we did that together. Okay, so let me just take my side piece here. I'm going to use that as my gauge to know where to kind of stop with attaching it. So I'm going to do another stitch just right here, just tying in that little edge there. Just right here and get it over here to the roof. Okay. So now you can grab your other piece here. And what I tend to do is you'll see that on the bottom, see we worked back into the chain, right? So you have the other side of the chain here. So rather than mixing it and matching it and having the braided side, you know, next door, I'm going to put the braided side up towards the rooftop. That way the bottom is all consistent, if that makes sense, right? So you just have that other side of the chain all the way around, and we'll just have the braided side be attached to the roof. Hi, Arts and Anthropods. How's it going? I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. All right, so now we're going to fold these two sides together, okay? So these are the the side of the house and the front of the house. And we're just going to keep on whip stitching down, you guys. So we're just whip stitching the two sides together. I've got my braided side up towards the roof, which we'll be attaching here shortly. We're just going around. We're seeing how far our little thread here can go. You know, we left all those long ones to sew this together, but you may not even need them all. But it's better to have them there than to not have them and find that, oh shoot, I should have left that one there, right? We're just going down the line, getting to the bottom here. Okay, so see that? So now, since I still have a decent length, I'm actually going to bring it back up, you guys. So I'm just going to take it across a couple of the back stitches here on the inside of the house, just to make it go towards the rooftop again. All of this is hidden, right, because it's on the inside, but I'm just taking a couple of sort of tacking stitches, if you will, just to keep it where I want it, which is to stay in the corner there. And I'm just coming back up to where we started attaching that side piece, all right? So now what we're doing is we're going along the side piece and the roof. You see that? Okay, so see how the center of the side is even with the peak of the roof? That's good. That's how we know how far our eave needs to go. So now we're just going through the braid of our side piece and the roof, the back side of the roof here. So this is the side of the house that we're going across. And this will be the last length that we'll use this thread because we have another thread on the other side, so we really can pick up a nice fresh piece and keep on working as we move down the line here. Little stressful on your Thanksgiving, huh? I feel like that's kind of how Thanksgivings always are. I don't know. There's always something that goes a little haywire. For us, the turkey, it's like become this running joke. There's always something that happens with the turkey. This year, my brother was doing the meats, and he had got the turkey. He got up, I guess he couldn't sleep, so he got up and was checking on it, and the center was still frozen. So where they put all the bits inside, it was still frozen. So he had to basically like pick at it to try to get the center part out. Then he spatchcocked it to cook it, make sure it cooked evenly. And it was delicious, but you know, something always happens. All right, so we've gotten to the edge of the side here. So now you can go back and just tie it off on the inside of the house. All right, so just pick up a stitch, get your loop here, and go through your loop. Just tie it off, okay? That's that. So I'm just tucking it down a little bit so it's not right on the edge there. All right, and we'll cut that length away. As it starts, as you use it too much, it just kind of starts to look a little ratty, and so it's better just to get a nice fresh piece if you can. All right, so now let's grab this next strand here that we've got. Thread your needle. All right, so now we need to get the back piece, right? I'm like trying to look at it. Okay, so here's the front, here's the side. Now we need the back piece. So grab your back piece here. Okay. So what we need to do is we're going to stitch the side here to the side of the back piece until it reaches the roof, okay? So that's the side that you need. So let me just show you guys. This is the back piece here. So there's the peak, which will fit into the roof up there. But for now, we just need to get this side stitched. Let me get my thread out of the way. They're all trying to tangle on me here. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to actually stitch it down, and that will be the end of this one. Okay, so I'm just stitching it down, connecting just the side of this back piece here. That's it. Just the side. They like to jump together, these strands. As much as you try to keep them apart, they just don't listen. All right. My daughter's already taken Peppermonte, by the way. You might have seen on the community tab, I did finish it this morning, the giant Peppermonte snail pillow thingamajigger from Garden Hoe. She's actually Garden Hoe Market on Etsy. But he came out so cute. He's like a big pillow. So he's going to be a decorative pillow, but she said he's not allowed to be put away for the haul. He's going to be living in her room and getting love year round. And I said that sounded like a good plan. I think he was happy with that. So that's what we're doing. But anyway, she's like, I'm taking him. You're not even going to show him today. I'm like, okay. All right, I get it. It's not mine anymore. All right, so we're just going through the loop. We're tying this one off, okay? Just cut that away. That's going to be on the inside. All right, so now it's kind of like a hot mess, right? But we're getting there, guys. It's going to take a house shape here very shortly. So I'm threading my needle with the top. It's basically the top of the back piece here. All right, so we need to get into the roof. She always does. My son is like not as excited about it anymore, you know. He used to be, but I don't know. It's hard to make. He's 11, so it's hard to get him excited about stuff, I think. All right, so you see where the pitch of the roof is, and we know that we need, what is that, like, is that a 1/2 inch, guys? My brain's not very good with the, oh, here, you know, I got a ruler. I could check. It's probably, it's like just a hair over 1/4 inch, actually. So anyways, you just want to be consistent, whatever you're doing, right? So let me just get into that pitched portion here, because that's where the tip of our back piece needs to go. Like so. And I just keep them flat together because it's a lot easier to whip stitch them that way. And then if you're trying to hold it in a 3-dimensional kind of space. So we're just going down the line here, picking up these back stitches of the roof, like so. Oops. But it really doesn't take too long to put it together, I don't think. Hey, you know you've done good, right? When your kids or whoever, whoever's young in the house really steals the things that you make. So I feel like that's it's like a seal of approval, you know? All right, almost to that side. Almost there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is kind of pop it open a little bit here so we can see it in a 3-dimensional space, and just double check if you have any gaps or any holes that you want to, you know, do a little fixed stitch, not fixed stitch, but you know what I mean, fasten stitch. There you go. So I'm just going to grab one more, go back in, and then I'm going to go back up to the peak so that we can go down the other side, okay? Again, all of this is on the inside of the roof, or inside of the birdhouse. So you will not see any jumps. They're all going to be on the inside. Okay. All right. So now we're back at the top of the peak there. And we're now going to go down the other side. Okay. So that we can then finish this off with the side bits. And then we have our bottom that we'll be working with. So go ahead and fold this down along the other side of the roof. And just keep on whip stitching. Putting the two together. Hello, Miss Dreeny. How are you? How goes it? We are stitching our birdhouse together here before we start getting all crazy and embellishing it with moss and such and hot glue and fun times, right? And what are you working on? Do you have anything going? I was very happy to have finished Giant Peppermonte because I have so many Christmas things that I need to make. I was like getting sidetracked by snails. Hi, Sonia. How are you, my dear? Hope you're doing well. I'm grabbing my side piece just as we did before. I'm going to hold it along this side and figure out how much further I need to go before I'm going to now grab it, right? So I need to go down a little bit further till about there, stitching my side of my back of the house to the rooftop. Almost there. Okay. So let's grab that side again. Again, chain side up to the roof, and then the other side of the chain where you started, that ribbing is down at the bottom. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to do one more stitch here to the roof because there's just a little bit of a space for that. And then we'll go back down into the back side. And now we're going to whip stitch along the side piece, the other side piece, and the back piece here to connect it. If only you could connect these with icing, right? It's like I am actually making a gingerbread house pattern right now that will be an offshoot of this birdhouse. So I've already started it and I'm really excited about it, and it's gonna be really cute. So I will do a tutorial for it. It's gonna make it into an ornament, but I will share that with you as soon as I can get it finished. It sparked another idea, you know, this is what happens. All right, so now I'm just taking a few stitches in the back here just to jump my thread and keep it tacked down. All right, so now I'm going back up to the roof area. All right, so now we've jumped back up to the roof. And we're gonna stitch this side bit here to the other side of the roof, making sure that whatever length you kept on one side of the roof is matched on this other side, so they're about even, right? That way you don't have one long roof section peeking over and then the other side's like super short, unless that's the look you're going for, which is, you know, to each their own. So I am just going to go ahead and start doing the whip stitching, getting that roof, coming back, grabbing that top of the little braided area there at the top, and then going along the side. And hello, Dazzling Action. How are you today? I hope your day is going well. We are putting our birdhouses together here. I came up with another potential idea for if you didn't have the stuff for making the inside sturdy for the birdhouse that we're going to do the gluing on. You know, if you have some of that sticky felt, you could probably just cut some squares and that would just give it that thickness or the stability that you need. It just makes it a little less flimsy, right? So you could do that. That's another option. But I'm going to do the wood, the little wood bits from Dollar Tree, because I think that that's another good way to do it. Everybody's saying hi. Everybody says hi. Good. Okay. There we go. So we just got that side done and we've come to another thread. So let's tie this one off. So going into the inside of the birdhouse to do the tie off. Again, just picking up any stitch, doesn't really matter. You're just tying a knot basically so that it's fastened down. Clip that away. We're getting our shape going here, you guys. Look at that. It's taking shape. Yay. Okay. All right, so now we're on the other side of the house. So that needs to get stitched down to the front piece of the house. And you'll notice we've got to do the full roof to the front and the full side. So that's what we need to do right now. So what I'm going to do first is just go down the side because that's where my thread is coming from. So I'm whip stitching it down to the side and then we'll jump back up to do this little area here and connecting the front to the roof. And then the last piece is the bottom that we're stitching together. We're just going around and around. Does anybody have any delicious drinks they're sipping on? I've got my peppermint candy cane, what is it? A candy cane mocha from Dutch Bros. So I'm going back up to where we started with this thread, okay, towards the roof. And now I'm going to flatten so that we're working on a more of a two-dimensional space, right? So now we just need to stitch that side together and then we'll do the bottom and then we can start getting all the other stuff going. Our sticks and our moss and all that fun stuff. And just so you guys know, I will be on today. I am one of the guests actually on Kim Fortune's channel for her channelversary. So she has that going on today. That's at 3 p.m. my time, which is Pacific Standard Time. I believe it's 6 p.m. her time in the East Coast. And yeah, that should be lots of fun. There's going to be giveaways and other guests on as well. So I hope you guys can join us over there on Fortune Knit Creations, knit with 2 T's. And yeah, I think that'll be a good time. I'm excited. I just have to remember it's at 3 o'clock my time. I have like all the, you know, the bells to tell me, okay, go online, go online. I get sidetracked very easily, so I need to have those reminders. So, all right, so we've gotten back to the roof. You got the notification too, Lana, yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to miss it because I've forgotten and I got sidetracked on something else. So look at that, you guys, it's taking shape. Okay, so let's just tie this one off on the inside again. And then we'll get the bottom part on or started, because you can't put the full bottom on. You can put like one side of it on, so it's got that hinge basically, but you can't put it all the way on until we build the structure that we're going to put inside. So, okay. So now we've got our little birdhouse in its own house shape there. Okay, little back side, sides, good. Everybody's fastened down. So now let's actually, you know what, I'm going to do it this way. I had started on the other one that we did, or the other one that I did. I just attached one side of it so it's like a hinge, because I realized you need to build that internal structure ahead of time. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and build the structure, and then we'll come back and do the bottom once we're finished, okay? So this part's fun. I'm going to get all my little extra threads here out of the way, set the back piece aside. So we've got our blank canvas here to start with. Okay, so first what we need to do is to build this little square here. Okay, this part is what's going to fit inside of here, and it creates a nice base that the staff can go through, and it'll create just like a nice bottom for it to keep the shape. So for that, you're going to need, if you've got the Jenga tiles, use those. Otherwise, kids have pieces of wood, little blocks. Heck, you could probably use popsicle sticks too, you guys. So I'm just going to stick with the lighter colors on this one. So I need 4 of those. Okay, and then I need 2 of the little blocks that also were from the Dollar Tree. And these are going to be fixed upwards, so you'll see that the size-wise, they're about even when you do it this way, okay? So we're just gluing these together. It's almost like a little mini palette, if you will. So now that we've got our glue heating, just make sure I have enough glue there. We're just gluing it. That's it. Just going to glue them together. And the reason I'm using hot glue instead of the tacky glue is it's just so much quicker at drying. The tacky glue did take quite some time. You could use wood glue if you wanted to. It just takes a lot longer if you're doing it that way. Okay, so now we're just going to get on the ends here because we've got the little blocks. So we'll fix one little block on one side, the other one, the other little block, and these are just squares, square little cubes, so there's no right and wrong way here of doing them. I'm just pressing them together, make sure they stick. All right, now you're just going to put some glue on the top, on both of the pegs there. Grab your next piece, fix that down. Okay. And we just have one more, and it's okay if the glue goes out and around. This is all going on the inside of the birdhouse, so it's not a big deal. Okay, and I'm just holding it together to make sure that it is stuck. This took so much less time, you guys. The tacky glue took a long time. I'm just pulling off some of that excess there. All right. So see, look how quick that was. Oh my gosh, you guys, the other one took forever again. It's like, okay. So that's nice and easy, right? So that's one piece. All right. So if you've got your staff, this could be a staff. You know, this one even came with its own moss, although it might die away, right? But but whatever staff that you have that you found, that's what we're going to be fixing through the hole, right? So it's almost like if you were making yourself a little house, right? What do they call those? Tree house. It's like the base of that. So that's what this bottom piece is. Okay, but the next thing that we need is we need the internal kind of structure, which is made out of cardboard, you guys. And it's also very easy to do. And I'm also going to do it with hot glue because it took a lot longer to dry. So let me just fix this one and see if it's about the same size, which it should be. It should be about the same size as my other one because it's the same pattern, right? So this just gives it a little bit of stability just to keep its shape, okay? So with that, let me pull this back out again. All right, so I can use this, but what you can use is, what I did was I actually used the back piece as my guide for this structure here. And I just went kind of on the just inside of it, not on the very edge, because otherwise it'd be too big. So just kind of on the inside of that, right? So if you're measuring, we're looking at just about 2 inches in width here. So on the back side, you're looking at 2 inches by just over 2 inches. It's like 2 1/8 inch on the height. Okay. And then on the sides, it's about 7/8 of an inch on either side. So that's what we're looking at first here. So let's just do the back side. So again, you can use your birdhouse, but what I would recommend is just going on the inside of your birdhouse, right? Not all the way to the edge, because otherwise it's going to be too big. And you can always cut it down too. So that's the other thing. You don't have to worry about it. It's not going to be pretty when you do it that way, right? But that's okay. All right, so now you can kind of do a little measure. And that is just, actually, let's make it a little bit wider to get us that 2 inch marker that we were looking for there. So that's better. And then we had just a little over 2 inches. So just looking at this one, that's going to be probably a little too tall. So we'll just bring it down just a wee bit. And the nice beauty of this is that it's cardboard, right? So you always have so many cardboard boxes that come in, especially this time of year. So if you mess up, you can always find another one and do it again. But I think this should be a good size. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Okay. So there's the back pitch, right? So that's this part right here. And this longer roof tile piece is actually just one long piece that I've bent slightly to then fix onto this area here. So that's what we can do. Let me just measure. Let's see. Okay. So it's about 4 7/8 lengthwise. Let me see if I cut a big enough piece. Of course I didn't. That's okay. I've got more cardboard. That's the thing, right? I have plenty of cardboard. We are not lacking cardboard here. I wasn't sure if that was going to be big enough, but now we know. So I've got a bigger piece here. Okay, so this is perfect. This is nice and big piece here. So I'm going to get my little measurement out and just cut that. All right. And then as far as the width goes, you can use that as your gauge. So that's going to be your little marker guy right there. Do the same on the other side. All right, and cut this guy down. All right, now what you can do is first you can go in half. So first just bend it in half like so. Okay, and that way you can know where the pitch of the roof is going to be. Let me just make that piece go in instead of popping out. There we go. Okay, and then when you've got that, you'll know where you need to do this final bend, which is, again, let's just measure here. It's about an inch. Okay, it's about an inch on either side. So again, we're just doing some really, these are very, very basic measurements, you guys. And it does not have to be exact. Again, this is just a little bit of a structure for the interior so that it has a little bit better structure than it does without anything, right? Okay, so now that you got those bits, measure twice, cut once, that's right. Yes. Like my dad's probably rolling over at home right now. He's like, oh my God, she's doing it wrong. This is not my forte, you guys. I don't build, I crochet, but on occasion I have to figure something out, and this is what I figured out. So I'm just attaching these two bits together with some hot glue, for trying to anyway. There we go. That's better. Okay. So attach the two together. Mine isn't working with me, but that's okay. It's par for the course. We'll just go over it again. There we go. And just hold it while it dries instead of trying to do everything at once. Sometimes going one side and then doing the other side is better. I was just trying to save time. Oh my gosh, Lana. I have these visions in my head of how I want something, and generally speaking, like, if my dad saw that I was building things like this, he'd just be like, oh my God, I can build that for you with wood. I'm like, yeah, but we crochet. We're not going to sit there with a whole bunch of wood and try to go building something. Like, come on, Dad. You know? My hot glue is not sticking, you guys, for some reason. I'm just going to hold it. Maybe I'm being impatient. I mean, the other one I did tacky glue on, and that worked out fine. I just didn't want to have to sit waiting for that, so hence why. Maybe now that it's attached, I'm just going to add a little bit more on the inside. Just make sure that it's nice and stable here. And just hold it for a second again. Here we go. Just let it sit there for a sec. I'm going to do the same on the roof. Okay. Just let it sit for a second. Don't be in a rush like I am. Give yourself a little time. All right. So now that we've done that, we have our base structure, we have our internal structures here. So now we can start putting this together. No, he's like, get some tools, girl. What? I'm like, no, Dad, I'm getting cardboard and I'm getting Dollar Tree supplies, all right? Oh my gosh. All right. So that one's just taking too long to dry, so I'm going to use my other one here because it fits too. It's the same size. All right, so you're basically just sticking this in there, making sure that the open piece is at the front because that's where our little hole is, right? So you're just slipping this in there so that it has a bit more structure. Okay. And I'm not even gluing it. You could if you want to, I guess. You don't have to though, because the thing is you're going to be sewing it in, so it's not going anywhere, you know? It's really just to give you a little bit more shape to your birdhouse. That's all. That's the only purpose of the internal structure, if you will. Okay? All right, so now that we've got that, we can go ahead and glue in our little base here, okay? And you can use either one. They will fit, but double check ahead of time. Like I checked it on my other. You'll stretch it just a little bit, but it does fit, okay? But I would add a little bit of glue on this piece, and the only reason is because you're fitting the stick in there, so just to make sure it doesn't pop upward into the house. I sound like my guy right now. Popsicle sticks, a little bit of shoestring, and presto, beautiful birdhouse. So true, Panda. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just popping it out a little bit, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue and then just put it back in there, okay? And then let the glue squish there to the cardboard. You're attaching the wood part to the cardboard part, okay? Now I'm thinking I'm a MacGyver. Thank you, Panda. You are here for my comedic relief. I much appreciate you. All right, now I'm going to pop the other side out, do the same thing. Just going to put a little glue on there. And we're just slipping it down into the cardboard and holding it to the cardboard so that it can dry for a second. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh my gosh. I knew this was going to be fun, Panda. We're just going to hang out and, you know, get some hot glue going. All right. So, you know, I'm not even going to do the back because I really just am trying to make sure that when I put the stick in there, it's not going to move. So it's attached now to the sides. So that should be fine. That's right. You're always helpful, Panda. I always appreciate you. Okay. Okay. So now that we've got our little bottom part here, and that's finished, grab your staff. Actually, no, don't grab your staff. See, I didn't get to do this on the other one because I needed to show it to you guys. So let's actually grab our bottom piece, because you don't really want to put the staff in until you've got this bottom piece at least partially attached. So grab your thread and your needle. Don't turn off your hot glue gun yet because we're going to be doing moss here shortly. Okay. So now we need to attach the sides and the back and go from there. So let's go this way. All right, and we're just whip stitching it, you guys. Again, same way. Same thing we did before. Using this nice long piece of thread here. This one is like abnormally long for me. I don't know why. But we're just stitching this around. How's that blanket coming out, Panda? Going around in circles. Okay. Now we got to the corner. And since all of our internal structure is in, we can just go all the way around, you guys. As we work the bottom piece on, it's really just a little bit of a covering so that you can't really see the wood. I mean, you'd see it a little bit, I guess, if you look down from the bottom, but who's going to do that, right? I mean, you could also cover that part with moss. I love fake moss, you guys. It's so whimsical. I don't know. Am I the only one that feels that way? I just think it's really cool. It can just make a project look so interesting, I think. Adds that little touch of the forest, sort of, right? Yeah. Oh, good. Your blanket's coming together. Good. And we're going down the line here. We're on the third side. Going around and around. Almost done with this part, you guys. We're on the last side. You've never played around with fake moss, Lana? Oh, you're missing out. It's fun. I mean, I used it on Boone to make him look like he was going through a pumpkin patch. I used it on the Howl's Moving Castle little diorama thing that I had. I had that like faux Lego thing that I built. Put it in a little glass jar, and then I added those to make it look like it was walking on a hillside. And then for this one, you know, it's just going to help it make it look more natural because a birdhouse would be outside, right? And that's going to happen. You're going to get moss. You're going to get, you know, other plants and things growing around there. Probably get some mushrooms, you know. All those fun things. So, okay. Here we go. So now it's got that internal structure. So it's just giving it a nice, like, little stability, you know. I love that. So you can see just a little bit of the wood here, but we can add moss to that if you want, and that will just cover that right up. So it's not a big deal. So just tie this guy off. Then you're going to grab your staff. Okay. This is like in the cooking shows where they would be throwing it into the oven and pulling out the one that's finished, right? I always thought that was like so funny. It's like magic. And then look, here it is. It's all finished. All right, so I'm just tying that guy off. Here we go. So now we've got our little structured house there. I'm going to grab my Santa's staff from Santa. Sorry, Santa. I'm taking your staff. But you don't need it just yet, right? Okay, here's my staff here that I'm going to use. So now we need to first get this going inside of our treehouse. Okay, so figure out on your staff that you have, or the piece of wood that you have, where it seems to fit best and give it the best look or the best stability. Okay, so depending on where that is, just make that determining factor there. And then we're just going to put some glue in that little wood structure that we built inside. And you're going to slip the staff through it. Okay? So that it is attached to your staff. And then, you know, hold your staff up, making sure that your birdhouse also is facing forward and not like cattywampus, right? Or skewed to one side or another. Hello, Amy. Welcome in. Santa got robbed. He did. He got robbed of his staff. I know, but I'm going to give it back, so don't worry. All right, so here's our birdhouses up there on the staff now. All right, and remember, we had that little hole here, right? So what I did was I broke off, where did I put him? There he is. We had made this little guy, here's one of our turtle doves. We made him on the other one the other day. So you could, if you want to do the birdhouse, do what I did. And then I just basically broke away the rest of this. You just need a stick of some sort, right? It doesn't have to be anything crazy. And this one actually almost looks like a chicken's foot, doesn't it? So this will actually fit in through this hole, you guys. That's what that was for. And actually where it sticks in, it's hitting that base, that wooden base. So depending on how far you want this to stick out, if that's too far, and actually I think that is a little too far, I can cut it down. Or even if you want to just have just the stick and not have this whole bit, you could do that too. So give me just a second. Let me cut this down. And I'm actually, I'm thinking I'm going to do that, guys. I'm just going to take this one little stick because this is too big. I don't want it to like be a weapon, you know. So bear with as I break this thing. There we go. Whew. Knowing my luck, it would have broken, the bird would have fallen off or something. That's what I was expecting. Anyway, so this will fit in there nicely, right? So this is like perfect size actually. And then he'll be sitting on that little branch that's sticking out like that. Isn't that cute? Okay, so now you can put a little glue on the end there. There we go. And get that into the hole and attached to the internal wooden structure. That's where you're gluing this to. And just hold it there and have a little patience. Yeah, Miss C's a sweet lady. I like her. She's awesome. So I was just holding it in there, okay, so that it's nicely in place. And if you need to, you can also add more if you need to go in on the back side there and just make sure, but I think that that's pretty good. Okay. So there's the birdhouse with one turtle dove. Okay, so we can make a second turtle dove and we could put it in the window. We could put it up on the rooftop, you know, on the eave here, wherever you'd want to put that, because of the way that we do the little feet, which is basically just wrapping that gold wire, or not wire, it's I'm thinking wire because of that tinsel bit that's in there. It's actually just this. It's the bonbons, or this is the one I use. This is Lion Brand bonbons, these little ones. So all you're doing is just wrapping it, right? Going into the bird and then wrapping it a second time and tying it off. And that's what creates the little feet. So you can really put them anywhere. You can put them on the rooftop. You can put them, like I said, in the window if you want. You could put it on Santa's hat. I mean, you can really do just about anything with those little birds. So anyway, so I think, I mean, we can make a second bird because he is supposed to have two. So let me get this little, that's not working. Let me get the pattern up here for just a sec. There we go. There's our little turtle doves pattern. Let me make it bigger because it's pretty small and I can't even see it. Okay, so for the little turtle dove, let's go ahead and make one more. So you can set the staff here just aside a little bit. Remember to just keep your little hot glue gun running because we're going to be needing that one last time for the moss. Okay, so we're going to make one more turtle dove. You need your F hook. These work up really quick. So we're just making 4 single crochets in a magic ring, or a double in my case. I go under the first 2 over the last, making my A. Make my little slip stitch there to connect, and then I do 4 single crochets into the magic ring. Yes, you got that right, Panda. I know, I was like, people are gonna get that, right? Always makes me want to sing. Right? 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. All right, start pulling one. You'll see the other one go in. Hi, Samantha. Welcome back. And then we're just going to pull this other one here. Now we've got our little magic ring there. Okay, now place your stitch marker. If you've got one nearby, which I do. Hang on. I've got a pink one this time around. So I've got my little pink one. And we're just going to do a single crochet and then an increase 2 times to build up the body just a little wee bit here. These aren't even stuffed, you guys. I mean, there's really not a whole lot to them. It's mostly just creating a little bird shape more than anything. Right, Angel? Thank you. So we've got our bird house is built. We're going to make one more turtle dove, and we're going to attach the turtle dove to the house because that's what this one is about. And then we're going to add some moss and just like really make it something fun. He's a woodland Santa, so we want to add some moss. I think that's going to just really make him an interesting looking Santa. All right, so we've done our single crochet and an increase around. Replace your stitch marker. And this last row here, oops, as my hot glue gun falls down. I'm asking for one of those ones that Kim has, you guys. It's like a cordless, because that's the thing. The cord always gets caught on stuff for Christmas. Anywho, so we're doing 2 single crochets. So here's 1 and 2, and then an increase in the next one. So it's 2 in the 1. All right, and then we're going to do another 2 single crochets. And we're going to finish off with somewhat of a picot here to get that tail going. So to do that, just do a single crochet in the last one. Chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch in the second chain from your hook, and then go back into that same stitch and do a single crochet back on the main row there. Take your stitch marker out, slip stitch in the next, and fasten off. Okay, so now you've made your little birdie body. All right, so we can cut that center one away. Grab your embroidery thread. We got to do our little French knot eyes. So I've already got mine handy and tied off. I'm trying to save myself time, you guys, because I do tend to get flustered. So I'm like, oh my gosh, where's my stuff? Where's my stuff? All right, so now that's the tail. Okay, you can kind of flatten him because you will be flattening him anyways, just to kind of decide where you want the eye to be on either side. But come up from the underside, and then you're going to split between any of the stitches. So see how I'm going in between? I don't know if it's going to show you because it's white. There we go. Can you see how I'm going in between the stitch? I'm not going in the holes around it. That is to hold the knot on the inside of our work. Santa is done, Samantha. Yep, we're going to put them all together. We're just going to show them off here at the end, but we're almost done with his staff. This is an optional birdhouse add-on. So, okay, so we're going to wrap this around. This one is, I don't think this is a full embroidery thread, so I'm just going to continue doing 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Going in to someplace next door to where I'm coming out of. Hang on, sorry. He's not working with me because he's small. Okay, 1, 2. Let's try wrapping that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And coming out next door, going back in next door, I should say, going back out into the underside of the bird, holding that tension just a little bit so that way your eye stays where you want it. And then just gently pull so that you've got your little French knot eye on one side. Now hop on over to the other side, making sure you're still aligned so you got your tail here at the back, right? So we're going to go to the other side here and do the same thing on the other side. So he's got 2 eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Coming back out on the underside. Remember to hold that tension. That way your French knot doesn't move around. I am in Washington, Samantha. Okay. And then you just get the little eye on there. There's his little 2 eyes. So now he just needs his beak. So let's tie this off on the inside of our work. I'm just going to do a double. What would I price this at after it's finished? Oh my gosh, Angel, that's a hard question. Oh my goodness. How much would I price this at? I don't know. I'm terrible at pricing things, Angel. Maybe, kind of depends on how long it takes each person, right? Probably like, I don't know. You could probably sell it for anywhere from, I don't know, 60 to 75 maybe. I'm in Southwest Washington, Samantha, so closer towards Portland, Oregon, not Seattle. That's north. That's the northern part. Okay, so grab your little yarn for your beak. And then you're going to, where's my beak? There it is, chain 2. Okay, so we're going to make a slip knot here. Grab your hook, chain 2, 1 and 2, and then you're slip stitching into the second chain from your hook, like so. Okay, and then finish off. So his beak is really easy. Kind of go make some lunch, be back in a bit. Hugs, turkey sandwich inbound. That's right. All right, so now take your, I'm going to have to take my embroidery needle. Where did I stick that, you guys? Okay, here it is. Take your, I've got like one of those wide-eyed embroidery needles, but it is thinner than a yarn needle. So my Thanksgiving was very nice. How about yours? My husband hasn't been feeling very well. He kind of got like a stomach bug the day before Thanksgiving. So that wasn't much fun. You know, he wasn't able to join in the festivities. But he did get to have some leftovers last night when he was feeling better. So that was good. All right, so I'm just going to stitch this down. Okay, so I'm going to grab the other side and come back out into the middle, or underneath rather. Okay. So that's one side. So I'm going to tie that one off, and then we'll grab the other one and just connect that one as well. How was my brother's cooking? It was good. It was good. He did a good job. Apparently the bird was not fully thawed though in the morning of Thanksgiving. And so he kind of ran it underwater and then had to like chip away the inside, you know, where they stick all the little bits that sometimes people put into gravy and stuff. We don't, but some people do. He had to chip the bag that out of the center before he could do anything with it. And then he was worried about it cooking evenly. And so he spatchcocked it, which is like, I think breaking it at the spine. I don't know if you take the spine part out or not, but then you grill it like open face, right? And that way you can get a more even heat, because otherwise it would not have cooked evenly with parts of it being frozen. So yeah, but whatever he did, Angel, it came out very nice. It was very good. So, all right, so I'm going to just taking this other end here and going in. There's his little beak. It's got his eyes. And I'm tying this other end off on the inside as well. Whoops, maybe if it's not going to jump away. We're so close, you guys. Okay, and actually, because this is a good length, I'm going to keep this for the feet. All right, so I'm not gonna fully tie this off. I'm just gonna leave it for now. So grab your yarn needle and grab your white end here, because we need to basically whip stitch the sides together. All right, and I'm gonna whip stitch them around the gold thread because that's gonna be part of his feet. So you do not whip stitch his tail. Leave that undone with anything to it. Okay, just leave it be. Go across, grab the other braid on the other side. All right, and come back across. So it just takes a few little whip stitches, making sure you don't take the tail. Leave the tail sticking out. There we go. We're just connecting the body sides together. Going into the next one, coming out again. And we're going around that gold thread, remember. That's going to be part of his feet. This way we don't have to connect a separate piece, right? That doesn't make sense. Although I think I did that last time, but I wasn't thinking ahead, you guys. I'm thinking ahead this time. Right? My brother was really thinking. He couldn't sleep, I guess. And finally just decided to get out of bed at about 3 a.m. and went down, realized that the inside was frozen. And so that was what he was working on at 3 a.m. apparently. So I guess when you're in charge of the meat on Thanksgiving, that's like what you're thinking about, right? It's kind of hard to sleep. You're worried that your turkey is not thawing or it's not going to come out right. It's going to be all on you, right? No, I always anticipate that our turkey will not come out right because there's always something with our turkey every single year, and it's hilarious. It's just it's like one of those running jokes, you know? So anyways, so now I'm just gonna get rid of this little guy here because we really don't need it. We're back to attaching things. So we just need to decide where we want this other turtle dove, you guys. So do we want him to sit like on the roof pitch? That would be really cute. What do you think? I mean, you could really put him anywhere. You could even put him like in the opening, but I think because I have this other one out here on the stick, I'm kind of liking how he is right here on the pitch of the roof. What do you think? So if you want to go around that, you're just basically going to do this direction. You're going almost like you're going to do a whip stitch. So let's go in. Let's do it together, okay? So I'm going to go in on this side. I'll go in on this side of the roof. Okay. I know it becomes a little more difficult because you're now attaching something to something that moves, right? We're going to go back into the same space where this is coming out of to connect it like a foot, right? That's what we want to do. Coming out on the other side of the body, right over here, okay? So this will be the first one. That's going to be 1 foot. Now I'm going to do the same going into the other side of the house, pitch roof there, like so. Okay, and then going back into the same space as before. And I need to tie it off, so what I do is I always go and grab one of the ones from the other side. Okay, so get him fixed there on the rooftop. And yeah, hang on a second. Let me do one thing here, you guys, because since he's leaning forward a little wee bit, what I want to do is just loosen this a second and tuck the little pitch of the roof forward so that it's not tucked behind him. All right, and then go ahead and just tie this off. If you want to take more stitches on the bird, you can, but I wouldn't do it in the gold because otherwise it's going to look kind of wonky since this is really meant to look like feet. So if you wanted, you could tack a little glue if you are worried it's not where you want it to sit. But I'm just coming out somewhere else, and then I'm going to pull that thread away here in just a second. Okay. So we've got our two little turtle doves here. Cutting that gold away and just tucking in that little end onto the inside. All right. And now we get to get our moss out, you guys. We're almost done. I'm so excited. Am I the only one? It's looking so cute, though. I'm so happy with it. All right, so I got a new bag of super moss. So this is what it looks like when you go to, I got this at Joann's, you guys. Super moss, preserved moss. And it comes with like colors and all the fun things, right? So you really just, it will get messy, which I'm all right with. I'm used to that with 2 kids. But I'm opening it from the bottom here. So anticipate needing your vacuum. That's all I'm saying, you guys. That's all I'm saying, okay? So I'm just moving everything else out of my way so that all I have is my staff in front of me, my hot glue gun, and my moss. And I'm just going to pull out few different types here that I'm seeing in here. I don't need to pull all of it out. I really like this purple moss, you guys. How pretty is that? I don't know where that usually resides, but I'm going to take some of that out. This one's interesting too. So I'm just taking a few things out. We'll just kind of see where we go with it. There's one that looks kind of like little snakes, if you will. I don't know if I'm going to use that one or not, but ultimately I need just a little bit here just so I can deck it out. The other thing you could do if you have them, I don't, unfortunately, I thought I did. If you have one of those little strands, you guys, of the like pixie lights, you could actually do one thing here. You could kind of attach the backing where you turn it on. You could attach that back here if you wanted to. Or you can just kind of have it underneath Santa, you know, and then have it curling up the staff. And then you could even tuck some light inside so that it would illuminate from the opening here, which would be really, really pretty, you guys. I was hoping I had some white pixie lights, but I think I've used them for all these projects we've been doing lately. So I don't have that. I do have the moss. So we're just going to stick with the moss, okay? Oh, thank you, Angel. So you can go as much or as little of the moss as you want. You can just sort of, you can attach it anywhere on the stick, right? Anywhere that you'd like. If you want to just kind of have it curling up the staff a little bit, you're just going to add some glue. My cat's watching me, guys. Merlin's watching me. He's like, what does that smell? Is something burning? It is, my dear. It's my hot glue gun. The look he's giving me, you guys. So funny. All right, so I'm going to need a little bit on the back here. See, this way I don't like corded ones, you guys. I'm excited to ask for a cordless. I didn't even know they had cordless hot glue guns until Kim showed it on her channel. I was like, oh my God, I need that in my life. I hate the cords. The cords are the part that it's like they always get stuck on me for some strange reason or another. They get stuck on my leg and then it pulls it off, you know. So I'm just kind of going to town. I'm just going to fix some moss here in different places. Not in everywhere because obviously like I want his stick to shine through as well. You know, you want the wood because in nature, moss doesn't necessarily cover every part. Although up in Washington, you might think differently because there's a lot of moss around here, you guys. It does feel like it kind of covers the trees a bit. Okay, so remember what I was saying also earlier. We've got kind of that opening here. So if you wanted to, you could add a little bit to cover up where that wood is showing, right? If you have any wood showing. So this is just kind of another option here. And see, it just covers that up beautifully like that. It's just so funny. It has its own moss on here too, which is pretty cute, I think. I'm going to grab this other kind, stick that up there, and have that come down. We're just going to keep going, you know? Go where the moss takes you, right? And grab this one again. Get a little bit coming around the back. This is, to me, this is the fun part. I mean, I love doing this. Because you can just kind of do as much or as little as you want. Really, it's not, there's no rules here with moss. You just kind of play with it. Just play with it, see where it wants to go. But you know, if you had like those little mini fairy house mushrooms, you could glue those onto here, which would be really cute. You know, you could have some coming like from the edge of the moss. That would be really pretty. So I'm just going to go a little bit more here. Isn't this looking nice, you guys? I'm loving it. I'm going to put some on the house. I'm not actually touching it for the most part, Angel. You might hear me squeal if I do, though. I do really love this purple one, you guys. I kind of want to add it to some of this. Okay, let's see. How do we want to do this? Okay. So I usually, what I'll do, this one had an actual stick in there. There we go. So I'll take, you know, I'll take different pieces and I'll just kind of decide like where it looks the best. You know, this one actually looks really cool right here, I think. So I'm going to, it's almost like a little bit of a skirt. I'm going to put that over here. I do want to get to the roof though, but when I held this here, it just looks really neat. Make sure you get the ends down as much as you can. It's not that hot, Angel, I promise. I did just touch it, but it's not too bad. All right, this one I'm gonna have this piece stick up there because it's not sticking. There we go. See how that's coming out, you guys? It just makes it look more natural, I think. All right, so now, I mean, you could even put some on the stick, you guys. You could do a little bit on the stick, right? Let's do that. I'm gonna put a little bit here, actually. Next to my turtle dove. Like it's kind of coming out of the house a little bit. Add a little titch of the purple up in there. Maybe just in little pieces so that way it's kind of little pops of color, you know? Okay, so I've got some moss coming out of the house, and I'm going to do a little bit on the rooftop here. Remember I said semi-homemade, right? So we did our homemade birdhouse. Now we're just adding some little fun details to it. You know, you could crochet it, I suppose, but I just think it looks more natural to do it this way. Let me grab another glue stick. There we go. Do I want a little more purple? I just like that purple, you guys. It's so pretty. Okay. Just pick off the little glue. With hot glue, you get little stringy bits, so you just kind of pick those away as you see them. Just get all that out of the way. Let's see here. Don't want to add any more of this. Would look good coming out of the house like a piece of the nest inside. Oh, that's a good idea. You're talking about this tannish kind of one? That would look really cute. Let's do that. Because it does kind of have a little bit of a nest look to it, doesn't it? I don't think I've ever actually seen moss that looks like that, but that could just be that it's not here in Washington, too. See, Angel? That was a good idea. I like that. Doesn't that look more like it's a bird's nest? What a good idea. See, we help each other out, right? Good job, good job. Okay, I do want to use some of this. This is like, it's a really pretty kind of blankety sort of moss. Just trying to figure out where I want to put it though. Or if it's just not going to happen, I don't know. But you can also just like roller the excess off when you're done too, you guys. It's no big deal. Ooh, yeah, along the ridge there would be nice, I think. I'm like trying to remember how moss usually starts to grow, right? I know with houses, it'll start to grow in the cracks and crevices kind of as one of the first places that it goes. Grabbing some more purple here. We're getting there. We are getting there. You must be creative too, Angel. Hey, we're all creative, right? I mean, we do our crochet and all that, but I don't know. I love mixed media stuff. I just think it's really fun to mess around with, you know? Just makes things a little different instead of just being one thing or another. You get to kind of mess around with a lot of different things. So we've got our little birdhouse here, and look, it's even got, thanks to Angel, almost like a little nest inside, right? Could always, like, I don't know, put some little eggs in there if you wanted to. Just grabbing some of the glue that just kind of decided it wanted to be there. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and, what do you think, guys? Do you think there's any more in there? Or you think, should I put some on the back, maybe? Or do you think that it's good? Should I call it? Or should I put a little bit more? Oh, no. There's too many angel is it Kraus? It's probably Kraus, I would think. The one with 214 followers, Lana. What do you think, you guys? Any on the back, or do you think it's got enough? Am I missing any spots that we want to put some moss on there? We've got some going down to the bottom as well. Let me get Mr. Santa here. I mean, you could put some on his coat, but I don't know. Am I going too crazy? I might be going too moss crazy because I can do that. Oh my gosh. You want me to put a little on the back? Okay, I could do that. Let's do that. Put a little on the back. All right, here we go. I need more of the green. Get a little more of the green. A little more of that one. Okay, so let's get a little bit more on the back, and then I think we'll be good. All right, so maybe we'll actually get some down here. Yeah, right, the one with the chicken. The angel with the chicken. Let's see here. My hands are covered in moss, you guys. The Crafty Halo. Oh, there you go. That's Angel. The Crafty Halo. All right, I'm going to connect the moss on the underside so that way it looks like it's starting to grow onto the roof from the staff. It's a creeping plant, right? Okay. There's the back side. So we've got it creeping up here, just like that. And we've got some growing on the top, like so. I think maybe just a little something over here, and then I think we're good. So let's do, go something right there. We're so close, you guys. We're so close. Kind of liked having these actually starting to like reach across. That's what I'm doing right now. Kind of having them sort of connect a little bit. There we go. Almost there, you guys. Let's let that fan back a little bit so it doesn't take up quite as much puffiness. There we go. Look at that. Just grabbing the little bits of glue that have kind of strung along there. Got some on my bird. There we go. Look at that, you guys. What do you think? Just make sure I don't have anything that's kind of hanging out above. Everything's tacked down pretty well. All right. I think that I'm going to call that done, you guys. Look at this. Hang on. There's one piece that's coming off here. Let me just add a little bit of moss on it. So I don't want any glue showing, much as I can. All right. There we go. Beautiful. Pretty little birdhouse. All right. So now we just need to get him on Santa. Now, if you want, you can add moss to Santa. That's up to you. You know, depending on how mossy you want to get. But you don't have to. All right, so I've got my Santa here. Like I said, it's a messy project, but you know, somebody's got to do it. So let me just bear with while I get this little guy in his hand. Oh, actually, here, before I do that, let me just unplug this guy so I don't burn myself, because that's not going to be fun, right? All right, so now let me just get this little guy in here, and we'll do our final little reveal. In hindsight, hindsight's 20/20, isn't it? If I was thinking ahead, I would have probably done this after putting it in his hand because he's going to try to take some of the moss with him, but that's okay. That's all right. We can always add a little bit if we need to. All right, so that's going to be a good height. Let me just add one more little piece here since I had to go through the mitten. When you add the moss, it does make it a little tougher to bring it in and out of his hand. So I would say if you're going to just have it be a permanent fixture for him instead of one that you would pull away every time like it is if it's just a stick, right? Okay, let's just go. We're going to go straight out this time instead of top down so you can see me. And that way we can have him hanging out. Hang on just a sec. Let me get his, where's his wreath? Hang on. He needs his wreath, you guys. There we go. So let me just try to show you the whole shebang here. Look at that. What do you think? There's his little wreath. It will help him stand the staff. You just kind of have to mess around with him a little bit. You know, make sure he's standing on his feet like so. Stick the staff maybe towards the front, but the staff is also a little bit heavier than his other one that just had the turtle doves. So, you know, if you need to lean him, you can, but you should be able to mess around with him and get him to stand up. Mine is just not going to work with me right now. Of course, because I'm live, that's what's going to happen. But I think also, too, I need to have his arm up higher. There he goes. His arm was down too low, you guys. This is why. Okay, just to show you. So you can see. Oh, here's his little wreath, you guys. Let me get that out of the way. What do you think? It came out really nice, I think. I'm really happy with him. You know, something different. So he's got his, you've got your options, right? If you want to do your Santa, this Santa with just the staff that has just the 2 turtle doves on there, right? More of a Gandalf-y sort of staff. Or if you want to have something with a little more substance and make the whole birdhouse. So I would say we can call that a finished product. Look at that. Here they are. The 2 Santas hanging out. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed hanging out with me. This has been the biggest project that I have done yet on Frizzy Bee Channel. So this was a 10-part project. Quite the undertaking, I know. It's definitely a labor of love if you decide that you want to make this for a friend or for yourself as a decoration this holiday season. But I hope that you'll consider doing so because they come out so gosh darn cute, you know. And again, you have the option of going traditional, right? And just making his little coat in red and white if you want your traditional Santa. It's all up to you how you want to do it, right? We like options around here. So I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me and making Santa. And again, I will, yes, this is my pattern, Lana. It is in the description below. It's on Etsy right now for $3, I think. And then you can get the whole pattern with all the photo tutorial as well. So if you don't want to follow along live, then you can also just go and look at the pictures. I've got all the pictures up, so it's nice and easy for you. And I hope that you'll consider making one for yourself. And I will have a Facebook group up soon so that we can all post pictures of our makes and such. That is coming very shortly here. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and that you've enjoyed decorating for the holiday season. One thing I do want to say actually is that I am planning to do sort of a little Advent thing coming up here. I do want to get back into doing some watercolor painting, which I haven't done in a long time. And so I do have on my community tab a sort of in the comments kind of poll where I'm trying to get you to come up with words for me that I'm going to put into my little Advent box, and I will pick a word each day. And for about a half an hour, I have to sketch and paint a little drawing, right? So it's not going to be huge. It's going to be pretty small because I'll only have a half an hour to do it. So if you guys can pop over to the community tab and put something in the comments for me. I have a few up already, like Wanderlust, I remember was on there, and Joy. And so if you guys have a word that you can put in there, I need 24 of them. That would be very helpful. I would really appreciate it. And give the thumbs up on the video. Yes, I'm covered in moss color, so sorry about that. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with you too, Angel. Oh my gosh. You're going to miss me keeping you company. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, save the live tutorials. That sounds like a great idea. And yeah, I'll be popping in live again very soon, I'm sure. And I will be on Kim's channel later, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for her channelversary this afternoon. So I hope I can see you guys there. She's going to have lots of giveaways. It's going to be fun. I also have a link for that in the community tab as well. So don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.